My big ass takeaway has been accountability. Obviously, it's been just as of lately, it's been more so dialing in on my personal endeavors, mentally, emotionally, internally. Not so much focus on the external, but really focusing on the internal and the direction I chose, and how committed I am to that.
That's awesome, bro. Well, like for the people that are listening, why don't you tell the listeners like who you are and what you do, and then we'll just hop right on into it.
Okay. So I'm chef Mike McCray, owner of Occasions by M. Proud to say I'm the private chef for Uncaged for the last year and a half. Author, private chef, personal chef, traveling chef, father, husband, uh, just a cool ass dude.
I like that. That is a fact, bro. You said something in the beginning, and I actually wrote the note down. But you like, I never really put these two words together, and it was cool that you did. But you mentioned accountability and you mentioned clarity, and the note I wrote down, it was like accountability creates clarity. What does that like mean to you? Because like, for some people, it's really kind of hard to put those two words together, like accountability. And when you said it, it made sense to me, right? From like a psychological and scientific level, like how that happens. But what does that mean to you?
That's a great question. So the whole year and a half of being in Uncaged has been an amazing journey. So like when I first started to now, with starting with the 30-day challenge, right? It was putting it on paper, which I've done this all my life. I've got a notebook right now. We're sitting right with notes and everything. But it was like the moment I put these thoughts on paper of who I am, what I want to be, where am I going, how do I maintain not only myself but my wife, my kids, my family, all that in like a nutshell. The clarity didn't start happening until I started executing the plan itself. And then it was kind of like a shit show, like a storm happened. It was like, whoa, wait a minute, this is real, these words are real, like what my thoughts are, they're real, and you got to deal with it. And that's the whole process of the 30-day challenge, is actually putting it to paper and then dealing with who you are, because you'll never get to where you want to be until you actually start to work on yourself. And I think that's the most amazing thing about clarity, is now I understand who I am. I understand my nose. Like I can't be a yes man all my life, right? I can't accept just anything, which we typically do when we don't have no clarity. So
Mhm.
now that I know who I am more so now than before, it's like, okay, now I'm starting to develop who I am internally and getting that clarity of where I want to be.
No, I love it, man. Yeah, no, it's really cool that you say that because, like, that's I'm actually staring at a brand new whiteboard I just got. I'm literally like just unpacked it, about to hang it up, and that's the thing is like for me, I'm sorry, I keep like staring at the whiteboard. It's like I can feel its presence, like because I know how important it is. Is the clarity aspect. And man, if I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. The Rob Dyrdek quote about like the more specific you can be about something, the more successful you'll be at it, has like, dude, I don't know why that's burned such a hole into my soul, honestly, is because when I look at that whiteboard and this is a fresh one, so I haven't all I have to do is write it out. And for my other whiteboard, when I'm staring at the top of that, the dream life scenario, I just realized that like I can do that. Like I have gotten so specific with it and like comparing like specificity and successfulness together, it's like I almost can like I can see it. I can almost like touch it, like this life. Now obviously it's a couple years out, but like the amount of clarity around that has now created accountability in myself because I know it's achievable, right? And I think like once it's cool to see these two words play with each other because it's like once you get accountable, to your point, like you can almost identify inside of yourself what your capabilities are, like who you are as a man and what you can accomplish. But then also, once you gain clarity, that brings you accountability because like you now know it's achievable. Like it becomes almost tangible, like almost like you can hold it in your hands. And so when you put those two words together, man, it was like really cool to hear that. And like just it was like a switch went off and to think about how those two words like intertwine. But as you've like been progressing, because you've been growing a ton, man, like you've been doing a lot of stuff. Um, and it's been fun. I know you've been busy, and it's been fun, like you hopping onto the calls, before we even hit record and just like, brain dumping like what some of your wins have been. But you've been really stacking a lot of wins lately. What's that journey been like for you? Like just seeing yourself going back to clarity and going back to accountability, seeing yourself have these action steps and telling, the Carolinas region, this is what I'm going to do. And then seeing yourself like Chef Mike McCray get this shit done. Like, what's that done inside of your life?
Man, it's been scary. It's been mind blowing. I've had like a lot of thoughts. Like I spend more time with the regional now just because they're closer than the big pack. Only because it's more tight niche, and then it's more so I can concentrate on my thoughts and not feel lost in a lot of the threads, right? But me posting in there has been really helping me stay on track of my accountability. Like I feel like I owe these guys an update every week until I can get to that place of where we can coast, right? Until things really start to flow. It's internally it's been scary because I was riding an Uber the other day and I was just thinking like I actually reached my next level. Like I did not expect this. It's been go, 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 phone call, right? Call the damn leads, right? Check in with myself, go back to the whiteboard, right? Take the L's. What did I learn? Blah, 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 blah. And it's just been like, holy crap, I'm at that next level of now what? Well, go back and do more work, right? Um, I really can't explain it. I don't think I'll be able to explain it until after a year from now. Real quick story, like probably 2 months ago, at my lowest point, I went back to chat GPT and put in some stuff. Okay, tell me about myself. Da 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 da. Let's do a quick evaluation. And it literally says, and I've still got that thread. It says, you're literally 10 years ahead of yourself. You need to scale it back. You need to figure out what's going to work for you right now. And when I started doing those small actionable steps for the right now, I started noticing that those small steps created giant leaps. And that's where we're here at. That's where we at.
That's awesome, man. No, man, it's been really cool to watch your journey because I mean, like you said, you've taken some L's along the way, you've shared some W's along the way. We've been able to help celebrate you along the way, and you've also got your ass chewed out a couple of times, right? But the cool thing about that is you've taken all that information and you've refined it and you've come back better every time. And I think that's the piece that a lot of men miss is, to your point, it is fucking scary, bro. It's scary. And you know what's crazy is it's scary to stay where we're at and it's scary to go to where we're going, right? Like it's going to be scary either way. And it's, with anything, you can interchange that word, the most common one is like, it's hard to stay here. It's hard to go there, whatever, like choose your hard. And so that one's a pretty popular one, but like when you start to really like conceptualize it and think about it and understand that like when those losses don't get as scary because you just understand they're a part of the process. I had a really good conversation with one of the other members. And the closer that I'm getting to some of these guys that are hyper successful, uh, you know, 8, 9, 10 figure earners, is none of them feel sorry for you going through the shit or struggling. None of them do because they know that there's two motherfuckers in this world, the one that's going to give up and the one's going to keep pushing. And they know that there is more refinement inside of that journey than, I mean, no book's going to teach it to you. No course is going to take you through the process. No coach or guru is going to, be able to give you the answers. Like they understand that, like, no matter what, you got to earn your stripes. And like, that's what, like, I've got this like whole new perspective when I see some of the guys struggling. Cause like, I fucking hate it, man. I don't like seeing any of my homies, dealing with stuff. Cause I've been there, I've done that. Right. Like I know what, like, whether it's financial, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your physical, mental, spiritual health, like whatever it is, like I know what some of those deep, dark holes will look like, but I also have gotten the opportunity to see like what it is on the other side. And like, just knowing that, like, you see some of these guys and just knowing that they got that grit and that tenacity inside of them. And that, like, dog, at the end, it all just becomes a matter of time before something cracks, something gives, you're one relationship away, you're one something away. And when you understand that, like, it's just, it gets fun, honestly, man. But like, what, for someone that has just not fucking stopped, and I'm sure there's been plenty of time that you wanted to, like, what's this journey been like with someone, not someone, but people, a group like Uncaged, to know that whether or not we have any applicable advice for you or not, like, let's just say we weren't even there to give you any information or advice, just knowing that someone else is in the trenches with you, like, kind of what's that been like?
Man, my first chef told me something when I first started cooking fine dining. He said, "You either got it or you don't. I can't teach you what you don't have, right? You got to have something for me to work with."
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of been the ironic thing. I've been saying this in my personal life, like I gotta have something to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for every guy in Uncaged, whether big or small, whether you got it, you don't. You either got it or you don't, right? Like you either are willing to put the work in before you meet this pack of guys, or you're not. Because all you're gonna do is you're gonna come into the pack and you're gonna cry about it.
Mm-hmm.
I say no excuses anyway, but it's weird when I hear you talk about it. Like, I don't know if I know any 10-figure earners personally that I can just jump on a phone call. But if I told my whole entire story, I've told everybody that I've met, there's no excuse. There's no excuse to sit broke. There's no excuse to sit in maybe where you're ever comfortable, in a trailer park. No, not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but you don't have no car. Like, there's no excuse because everybody's given the same 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You either want it or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want it, there's no need to be around people that do, because all you're going to do is just you're going to kill my vibe. Like, I got enough going on that, and I get it. Like, it's all internal. It's either you got it or you don't. And if you don't, separate yourself and go elsewhere, because I don't need that.
No doubt. And it's wild because, like, we just went through, like, Uncaged specifically, went through that where, like, me personally, I had to have an understanding, and everyone thinks that they can fucking break the cycle, right? Like, because the saying is, if you try and help everyone, you'll end up helping no one. I didn't want to believe that because, like, I really I want to see everyone succeed. But then it leads you down that whole, like, again, if we're gonna just keep throwing out cliche sayings on this episode, is like, then it leads you down the path of, like, you can lead a horse to water but can't make them drink, right? And Roden, actually, he's in your pack. Um, he took the uncaged, he made an uncaged version of that, which is, we will lead a horse to water and we will force that motherfucker's head underwater, and they got two options: drink or drown, right? And that's the thing, is like, there's so many people in this world that would just rather drown. They literally would just, and whether it's a mental thing where it's imposter syndrome or success guilt or you name it, or it is from pure laziness or wanting to take the easy road, right? But that's what's been fun with Uncaged is just surrounding ourselves with guys that are willing to drink, that are willing to push and to hold each other accountable, right? Like I know that sounds uh we've been beating a dead horse with that. But that truly is like the thing when you start to look at who you surround yourself with. And if we can agree that from a scientific and psychological level, you'll be the average of those five, why would you not want to constantly push yourself? And that's the thing too, is like I feel like when people hear that phrase, like, you're at the average of the five people that you surround yourself with, and therefore that means fuck all your old friends and start new. And let me just be clear, like there's a lot of people that need to cut a lot of shit baggage out of their life, 1,000,000%. So I'm not saying that, but also I'm not saying that you got to fucking completely turn your back on everyone that wants to succeed, right? Because if you were to think about it and you think about these, like if you had a pacer with you, if you have someone from your previous life or you grew up with or whatever that had that same desire as you, I personally think it's a superpower if the two of y'all were constantly, surrounding yourself and getting better. And again, fuck it. Maybe let's say you got 5 killers on your team. I'm willing to bet that there's no one listening to this that does. But if so, you know, the idea, and it's like what we talk about in Cage all the time, like the better we all are individually, like us as a contributing factor to the ecosystem, if we are getting better, then the average rises, right? But then also likewise, if the average guy or any of the other singular members in that ecosystem are getting better, it pulls the whole average up, right? And so when you start, and that's why some of these guys, like, we reference some of these like high net worth guys or just hyper successful guys, is motherfucker, they'll give motherfuckers one shot, because in one shot you can tell me everything I need to know about you. You're either the motherfucker that got it, or you're the motherfucker that don't. And they have zero responsibility to babysit you. They have zero desire to coddle you. Like I've seen those guys openly bring in guys that may be beneath them or lower than them, or not as long down the journey as them, if they got it, if they got the piece that pushes, bro. Because I don't care where you're at in that like hierarchy, that shit is contagious, bro. Winners are fucking contagious. And that's the power of earning your seat at the fucking table, bro. And I see you, dude. I see you putting in the work. I see you refining. I see you not giving up on yourself. I've seen you, maybe get distracted a couple times and pull your shit back together and tighten up. And from the outside looking in, and I say this with all due respect, because like, yeah, obviously people put on social media what they want you to see, but like I know you on a personal level, and I see behind the curtain, and like it looks like you, I mean, bro, you're a better man than you were 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 18 months ago. Like this is a different chef, Mike McCray. So like with that said, like what's the future for Mike McCray? Like where are we going to next, dog?
Sitting at that table, but sitting at the table, holding my own. Like when and I'm glad that you said this, because this is a conversation I have internally in my head. Is like, why would I sit around people that I actually need? That's not a disrespect. It's like, am I looking for a handout? Right? Like, oh, can I get such and such and such? Oh, such and such and such, right? Things happen. How do you work with the resources that you have? It's being a resource of yourself and knowing what you have to work with, right? Like my intellect reaches further than what my hands do. And that's what I rely on the most. It's get it done. Am I going to watch my kids starve or am I going to feed them? And how am I going to do that? Am I going to do it legally or am I going to do it legally? Right? Those are all those decisions. The future for me is get it done so that way when I sit at the table, I'm not less than as if I'm talking about what I bring to the table. Yes, I need some more education. Yes, I need some more mentorship. Yes, right now, where I'm at right now is I'm now asking my group of chefs, hey, what's the best accounting tool that you're using? Give me your 3 tiers. Lowest tier, mid tier, highest tier. Which one do you think works the best so I can make a sound decision, right? So I can scale up. But when I come and sit to that table, it's like when it comes to my industry, I am the brand ambassador for my industry. And when people talk to me, I can explain to you what works, what don't work, what you should consider, what you shouldn't consider, right? Like everybody in the Uncaged Pack all have a different industry that they operate in, and they're the brand ambassador. And that's what I love about it. It's like he's top tier of his. Now I got to be top tier of mine. Whether I am seen or not seen for the future is I need to make sure that I'm top tier so that every other chef that comes behind me has a blueprint to work off of, and they can say, "All right, I can make it too."
No, man, I love that. That's badass. It's man, it's definitely something, you really got me involved in this. You either got it or you don't got it mindset because like, one of the big topics that we speak on inside of Uncaged is you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And so like if you were to like really kind of start breaking down that phrase, you don't know what you don't know until you know it, and you either got it or you don't. I think a lot of times people can get it convoluted on like you either got it or you don't, right? Like, and that's whether it be like some sort of skill set or a talent or whatever the case is, right? But when I look at some of these guys who are hyper successful and like whether we've seen them start over from scratch or they came out the mud or whatever the case is, right? Like, no one wakes up with this inherent ability to just be that much better of a human fucking person than another, right? Like there
Right.
might be some anomalies out there. And because I don't want anyone running in the fucking comment section be like, well, what about XYZ? Like, yeah, I'm sure there's some fucking anomalies, bro. Don't get your fucking panties in a wad. But to take some extreme ownership on it, right? Like you said, like we all have 24 hours in a day. But some of us choose to be more efficient with that time than others. Some of us choose to be learning than others. And then, like, that's the biggest caveat. That's the biggest difference, I think, when I see how these high achievers, high net worth people, like, they're always learning and they're always like willing to admit what they don't know. Right now, with that said, that does not mean I'll tell you, one of those guys that is a 10-figure earner uh, actually told me, and there can be people that disagree with this comment or not, but he said, like, I never tell someone like I can't do it because I know who I am. I will get it done, whether or not I knew immediately right then the exact approach or what exactly to do. I figured it the fuck out, right? And a lot of people miss that figure it the fuck out mentality and they allow themselves to give them an out. They allow themselves to make an excuse for themselves, right? Like, oh, sorry, bro, like I just couldn't do that, or I don't have those resources, or I didn't figure it out, right? And I'm not saying chase shiny objects. I'm not saying spread yourself too thin. I'm also not saying be a yes man to everything. Like we're talking very much directed towards in your industry, in your vertical, in your within reach, right? This
Right.
is something that is, referencing the whiteboard. This is something that moves you closer to that dream life. Like motherfuckers say yes and figure it the fuck out, you know? And I've been seeing you do that, bro. I've been seeing you figuring it the fuck out. And like knowing now that like, you are someone who will figure it the fuck out. Like, what has this done to like Mike McCray as a person?
Oh man, it's become homogenous, like milk. I'm taking a minute to think about it so I can articulate, but let's take Uncaged Retreats. We started at the very lowest, right? We started at the lowest. We'll show up. We'll show up. And as we showed up, each one, it was something. I have a mechanical brain, so it was like something has to turn for this to happen. So we're gonna try this, and we're gonna keep this the same. And every time it's been the same thing. Now it was like, okay, well, what have I learned from the retreats? I'm gonna take that concept, that model, and bring it back locally. And guess what happened? Now we're an Airbnb chef. That was kind of a happenstance thing. Like it just they happened to roll it out. I jumped on it. We got 2 reviews, right? 2 5-star reviews. But what we did was we took the concept of Uncaged, brought it back locally, and that was only simply for me to start to work on efficiency so I can make the Uncaged retreats better, right? We go into places where there may be a food desert. There's not a lot of shopping. There's some things available, not available. When we get there, it's like we have to just think on our feet. So, what this has done is just kind of made me think about everything inside of my home and outside of it. And that it's a way of life. It's the way of life. You either going to start to shape yourself and progress into who you're supposed to be after you've written down on your whiteboard scenario, or you're not. But if you wrote it down on your whiteboard scenario, you're now becoming a different person, and you have to live that way inside your home as well as outside. I can't be somebody to sell you um let's say chicken and waffles if I'm not eating it. I had a talk with a chef yesterday. He asked me about some fish. I said, hey, we got a saying. If you won't eat it, why would you sell it? That sells 101 in every industry. If you won't buy it, why would you expect somebody else to invest in it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a matter of you live and you walk and you talk what you believe in.
That's awesome, bro. Well, man, dude, it's been incredible watching you grow and your journey and like I get excited about the future, right? Like what's next? Where are we going? How are we getting there? And it's just been really like it's been a fun ride because to your point, like we've just been kind of figuring it out and we figured it out and we were at points where we had to figure it out again and we figured that out. And like it's just this constant um vicious cycle of like, everything is figure outable if we try hard enough. And I feel like we've gotten to a really good point. And so then it's exciting because it's like, bro, if we're already, I'm going to say this modestly, it's like if we're already this fucking good and this is like the foundation and it's only up from here, like it gets me really fucking excited about what the future holds. And then, you get like this equal parts motivation for like where you've come from to where you are and then inspiration from like where you are to where you want to go. And so it's just been super fucking fun. And I guess we'll kind of end with this before I ask you how we can pay you back. But like when you think about something like that, like, all right, where you started and then the motivation that it's created to see where you started to where you are, but then the inspiration from where you are to where you're going to go. Like, how does that show up for you, like on a daily basis?
Oh, that is a really good one that I have not thought about. Shit. Um, it's showing up as of right now. The only thing I could think of is my process.
Mhm.
Um, we've obtained more conversations with some more chefs, some staffing, right? It's now starting to bleed out to where it's like it's not just me, but now we can start to implement the system that we've learned and start. It's always a testing model, right? So now we need to test it out outside of ourselves to say, hey, can this work with somebody else without my hands on it? If it works, great, then I can trust that system. If it don't, we need to figure it out, right? So I would say it's about just being effective and just continuing to work the process and not try to reinvent the wheel.
Man, I love it, bro. Well, dude, you spent your most valuable asset, your time here with us today. What is something we could do for you to pay you back for the time you've dedicated to us, bro?
I think you guys have done enough. I really appreciate the opportunity and the time, and I love everybody in the Uncaged group.
That's awesome, bro. It means a lot. We appreciate you. And if there's anything we could do, bro, obviously reach out. But for those of you who are listening, if you have any questions, concerns, thoughts, if you want to get a hold of Chef Mike, hiring him for a special event, whatever the case is, he's easily accessible inside the Uncaged community. He is the Uncaged private chef. However, if for some reason you can't get a hold of him or find out how, please reach out to myself and be more than happy to connect y'all. Other than that, we love y'all. We thank y'all. Give this a share if you think someone needs to hear it. We'll see you next time. Peace.